Okay, today's date is February 16th, 2017. I'm going to be talking to you about the land use issue of excess impermeable surfaces here in downtown River Falls. Just to give you an idea of where I am, right along Main Street here. Right now I'm right in this area here, where I'm going to be close to where Maple Street crosses over the Kinnickinnick, and as you can see, Main Street follows the Kinnickinnick pretty closely. Okay, so here I am at Family Fresh, which is the local grocery store here in River Falls. As you can see, it's a very large parking lot here, and it is right next to the Kinnickinnick here, right down there. So a reason why this is a problem in land use planning as far as the excess impermeable surfaces is because wildlife is tied in with any type of land use, and however we use the land affects the wildlife and affects the opinions of people and how they think about towns and everything. So, be exploring that here a little bit more. So right now I'm just walking down one of the alleyways behind Main Street that is very close in proximity to the Kinnickinnick River, and I'll just talk to you here about some of the positives with current conditions, which would be having the impermeable surfaces the way they are. We have plenty of good surfaces for biking and rollerblading. There's also low upkeep associated with it. Of course, when the roads go bad, it's a big hassle to fix the roads. But in the meantime, there's pretty minimal upkeep, which is nice. And then some negatives. We have lots of runoff from rainwater. So when it builds up, a lot of it flows down towards the river here, and we have erosion problems. As you can see, we have steep banks here along the river. So when there's a lot of rainwater coming at the river at once, it can erode away pretty quickly. And then we also have things like salts that are put down from trucks in the wintertime for cars, and also oil spills from cars that also get washed off in the rain and end up directly in the river, which can harm wildlife. And trout too. They're a species that needs cold water, and when we have the water here that collects on the tarred surfaces, especially in the summertime, it heats up that water before it goes into the river, and then it warms up the temperature of the river, which directly affects the trout. Okay, right over here is Main Street, and to my left we have the river here. And so, a reason why the current land use exists, why we have so much pavement here, is because really it's most practical for our human uses. Um, by having surfaces like tar instead of gravel, we have it's easier as far as when we have weather. It's easier to upkeep, it's less dirty, and it's tar is more pleasing to look at than gravel. So we end up with pavement as a result, and as a result of that, the river suffers. So to compare River Falls to another community with a similar issue, I'll give you the example of Waconia, Minnesota, my hometown. There's a big lake in Waconia called Lake Waconia, and the town is developed around the lake. And the problem there is that the lake is a lower elevation than the town itself. So then we have a lot of runoff that goes directly into the lake downhill. So it might be even more so of a problem there. The only difference is here we're talking about a river, so we have towns all along the river that are mostly all doing the same thing. So whether they're upstream or downstream, they're having a pretty profound effect on the river. Um, and a main way they're having these effects is by having a high percentage of impermeable surfaces. Okay, now I'm here looking at Lake George. As you can see, it looks like the geese have started to migrate back. And all around this lake here, there's the back of Family Fresh there, and we've got plenty of residential areas and business areas surrounding it completely. Behind me, we've got the walking path here, but right up the hill, we've got residential areas. So it's very built up around the river, and people like to live close to waterways, so that's the reason why. But with that comes problems that affect wildlife. And so some changes that I thought of that could be implemented to help solve this problem. One thing we could do is uh, make rain gardens or buffer strips of vegetation. We could put that in areas like right back here, close to where this retaining wall is, or even behind it. We could have a little bit better vegetation, especially so on this other side of the river. It's once I get over there, I'll show you. It's a pretty downhill slope, so nothing really stops the water once it starts running down that hill. So if we had natural vegetation, that actually helps immensely to slow down the water runoff. Another thing we could do is we could use less harmful chemicals. Like instead of using salt in the winter, we could actually use sand instead, or things that are just a little bit more eco-friendly. So by doing that, we wouldn't actually be changing much, but changing the way that we do things would help the problem. And then a third thing we could do is we could remove the pavement once it gets too old and replace it with more permeable surfaces. They've got new technology now where they actually have tar that is not 100% impermeable, and it actually allows water to seep into it and get into the groundwater beneath the tar instead of having 100% of it run off. All right, now I'm here on Winter Street, right by the dam. So this is a spot where the river kind of branches away from Main Street, or I should say, Main Street branches away from the river, if you want to look at it that way. But um, just to talk to you about some social, economic, and environmental costs, I think we are missing out on environmental costs by not having the environment kind of in tip top shape, if you will. I heard in another one of my classes that the environment provides us with $33 billion worth of resources every single year. And so by not keeping the environment um, at the best that it can be, we're losing out on these costs. And I think that's something that can't be ignored here. Also, there's social costs that we could be missing out on. So people like to live in communities where wildlife isn't ignored, and also they like places like parks and anything with vegetation really. So, which also is would be directly helping this problem by creating more surfaces that are permeable. And then I think the economy branch of it, that might be the only part that actually is benefiting with the current use, just because you come here now and you can park anywhere you want really, but um, so that might actually be benefiting in some ways at least. But overall, I think we're probably missing out on thousands of dollars just because if we were to fix the problem here, it would cost a lot initially, but in return, we would have more people wanting to come to our community, and then we'd be bettering the wildlife system of the river, which would be creating more revenue for us as well. So it would be a lot of money off the bat, but I think there's, like I said, thousands of dollars every year that we could be benefiting from if we were to fix this problem. All right, here I am in the Pizza Hut parking lot on the opposite side of Family Fresh. Just one of the many parking lots um, next to the Kinney, which is right over here. So just another prime example of areas leading right up to the Kinney where it's nothing but impermeable surfaces. And then, so just to talk about who to approach to make changes to this problem, What I would do is first approach City Hall, attend some of the town meetings, and I'm sure there are plenty of people that know of this problem, but to join these people and to help them get their voices heard to fix this problem would definitely help. And then also just telling anyone you know really who doesn't know about the problem, that's going to help fix it as well. So, and then just to end the video here with a shot of Main Street in either direction, just to give you a better idea of of the surfaces around River Falls, especially close to the Kinney where a lot of the businesses are here. We've got tarred, impermeable surfaces for quite a long stretch here, so definitely a land use problem here in River Falls that I think we could do a better job at fixing. All right, thanks for watching.